Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Steve, and first of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to all the Fortadpays leaders in this group, particularly. And I mean, you guys have just inspired me from YouTube, and you've really helped kickstart my RevShare business. So, what I want to quickly do a little quick video about today is just basically it's more for people who are not so confident about doing videos and for people who just more particularly favor posting in Facebook groups, for example. Okay. And basically the biggest question about this is, how do I post the link if it's blocked? If you've got big companies like Fortadpays and other big companies that they've probably promoted before, but all the awareness that grows within a company very quickly, and Fortadpays is just a massive company enough as it is. But after a certain period of time, Facebook picks up on that, and then people start spamming all over the place, and then they just kind of want to take things a step back and start saying, we don't want you posting this link anymore. A lot of people have considered it as spam, so we're going to kind of block that link. And it really puts a lot of people out of position from doing that. Now, when you're posting in groups, for example, you want to make sure that it's clean first of all. Okay, I have seen people in groups where they still provide the link, but they leave a space in the link, and they say, just piece it all together and stuff like that. I think, to be honest, that never works. No one really copies and pastes the whole link and then starts piecing everything together just because of all the spacing issues and stuff like that. You basically want something that's clean, and then a direct link that you can click on without having any issues whatsoever. And I've tested something, and as of now, it's currently working. So for you guys who like posting in Facebook groups and who like sharing links in your messaging chats, your personal messages with people, because even when you're doing personal messages, you can still send a link, and Facebook will say, no, not having any of it. So this will work the same way as well as posting in groups. So it may help you out. Okay, so here's one of my accounts that I've just set up maybe a week or two ago, just to test some things sort of within some groups and things like that. And obviously to make sure that my method of trying to bypass the way that Facebook blocks these links is working, and that it's clean. Okay, so basically what I want to show you is an example of one of my posts that I've made here. Okay, so currently I've got join the #1 RevShare, ad shares only $1, and that stands out very nicely. And then at the top here I've got who else would spend $1 and get back $2.20. Advertise your business and get paid at the same time. Join here. Okay, so it's just a typical Facebook ad post that you see in some of the groups. Now what you see, one of the first things that you see is the domain name that I've got. Now if you have a domain name that is currently blocked, okay, so for example, maybe the actual Fortadpays website is blocked, which it is, but then you're using one of your domain names, okay, and you put -Fortadpays at the end of that, and that becomes blocked because they know that you're just literally redirecting that to Fortadpays, and that eventually gets blocked. So you need to take certain steps to bypass that so that it's clean and user friendly. Okay, so the first thing that you notice here is that I just came across a .tk domain. Okay, and I've taken #1 RevShare.tk, and all you have to do, if you go to Google and then we type in free domain, and if we just come down here, you can see here free domains for all. Okay, and then all you need to do is just go over here and open up a .tk domain. Fortadpays is already taken. Ad-Pays is already taken, but just come up with something that is preferable to you and that's probably quite attractive to click on as well. Okay, and it's really clean to set up as well. You literally just put in a very few details, and then you select that I want 12 months, and then if you sign up the account, then you can just renew it every 12 months completely free. So for me, I think that's great. So I set that up as my first step. Okay, now what I had to do from there was that if we just open up this folder here, what I've got from some of my previous histories from solo ads and email marketing, sales funnels and things like that, and we use certain steps to help with tracking purposes. Okay, and basically what we've got here is kind of like a middle page. So you know when you've put in an email address at some points, and then it takes you to the next step, but there's like a 3 second, 4 second, 5 second pause, and it literally just says loading, please wait. Okay, some people use that to help with tracking. Some people use that for filtering as well. So basically they take all the traffic they can, and then basically it redirects people to different offers when you get to that certain page. But what we're going to use here, if we just open this up, you can see the example straight here. Okay, so what happens now, if I just open this up in terms of the coding, okay, I mean, we've got a lot going on here, so just ignore the majority of this sort of stuff here. All you really need to worry about, when you can get someone to, if you know a little bit about coding, then this is great. You could probably open this up on a text editor as well if you don't have any software that can do this. But for me personally, I use Dreamweaver because I've just always used it and I'm more comfortable using that, okay? But for you guys who are not familiar with sort of the coding and stuff like that, all you really need to worry about is this line here, okay? And you can see the URL that I've got here for Adpays, and then obviously my affiliate link from there, okay? Now on this content, it's basically the seconds. So when it says loading, it's basically in seconds. So I want that page to stay up there for 2.5 seconds, and then it will redirect people to the Fortadpays website. Okay, and then you can change that to your liking. Okay, if you put any more information in there, maybe you want people to read it a little bit longer, so maybe it's 3 seconds, 5 seconds. You know, I personally wouldn't have it longer than that at all. I mean, 3 seconds is usually the best way, because if people see a blank page for too long, you know, they're just going to click out of it. So ideally, sort of 2.5 is optimal in my opinion. So what we've got here, we've obviously got the redirect link here. Okay, now what I've named this join. Okay, now if we go back here, back onto Facebook, open up the next one, I've got my .tk here. Okay, now on my actual hosting, I've got the folder here. Okay, so join. One of my old websites that I no longer use is stevenchina.com, and then it would be /join. Okay, so that's the folder, or that's the URL that I would use to make that redirect. Okay, so if you went to stevenchina.com /join, you would see that loading page, and then after a certain period of time, it will redirect to the Fortadpays. Okay, so that's the second step of bypassing, helping bypass the way that Facebook work, because basically it's when Facebook see a link, it basically like a spider, you know, it just kind of crawls through the whole thing, and it just tries to find those ways of that's blocking the website in the first place, you know. So this is the second step that helps. So when you've got your .tk domain, if we can just move this over here, for example. So I've got #1 RevShare.tk. Okay, I click on that, and it redirects the site goes to steveinchina.com /join, which is that loading page. Okay, so that's another way of helping Facebook to kind of stop that way from blocking that link. All right, so I'm using that as a way to redirect the website. So if we go back to the folder, and I actually look on the website here, so you'll see this, it loads up for a few seconds, and then it redirects to Fortadpays. Okay, now what I want to show you now is, if we just go back, okay, on the first thing you need to do, okay, and you can try this with multiple domains. Maybe you've got a domain name that's not being affected currently right now, okay, but personally I'd prefer to use not your primary domain, just in case down the line Facebook come up with a way of not doing this. But personally, I don't think they will, because to me this makes complete sense and it just works for now. Okay, so I know I'm rambling on a bit, so I'll get straight to the point. So when you've done a post on your wall, Okay, you need to do a post on your wall to get this and to make this work. Okay, what you need to do is when you've made your post, you need to click on the time that you've posted. Okay, and once you've done that, you'll get this whole link up here. Okay, photo.php fbid blah 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 blah. Okay, what you want to do, you want to copy that entire link. Okay, and once you've got that, now you can use that link to post in Facebook groups. Okay, so once you've managed to use a domain and a URL that currently works for posting on your wall, okay, I did originally try it with stevenchina.com/join, and I posted the night before, I posted in some groups, and I woke up the next morning and the post was removed. Okay, so you have to be very careful about using sort of your primary domain. You have to use, I personally think the best way to do this is to use the .tk domain, and then you redirect it to a domain that has hosting for that page. Okay, I'm sorry if you didn't really understand that, but to me it makes sense. Okay, I'm really not too sure the best way to explain this, but hopefully you can kind of see where I'm going along with this. So basically you can see that that I've posted there, and what we're doing, we're clicking on the time, and now we're using like a third URL, okay, which is the photo ID. Now what it looks like, I've got a group here for example, and you can see here that the post looks like this. So your post still looks very clean in a Facebook group. You've got, I've just got my link here, so people can literally go directly to that. Okay, and obviously I've got my profile here. If they click on the picture, I've got my profile, so people might add me and they're more interested about the offer. So that's another great way to start building relationships. And I think a lot in Facebook groups, a lot of people really don't know how to market too well. So it does take quite a lot of work to speak to people, but I have had a few sign-ups from doing this, just from this test over sort of the last week. And it does take some time to, you know, really sort of train people up to understand how RevShare businesses work and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's more or less just, you know, you're bringing new people into the business, and then eventually you work on relationship building and get those people involved. And sooner or later, they're going to understand how powerful RevShare businesses is and how good Fortadpays will be for their future. So personally, I still don't mind using Facebook groups to get additional leads, because after all, it's still free marketing. Okay, and this is more, like I say, it's more for people who are not as comfortable doing videos, as well as for people, you know, who just don't feel comfortable showing their face and talking too much. You know, it's just maybe a little bit uncomfortable at this point. So they just are more than happy just to post in Facebook groups and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's kind of working in 3 different ways. You've got your first link, your second link, and now we're using the Facebook photo ID link to bypass that way if that's being blocked. Okay, so if I was to go, just open up the group here, I'll show you exactly what I do. So what you would do here, you'll go to write something, and you copy that whole link, and straight away that post pops up. And the only thing I do now is just remove that link. Okay, and then I can post that link, and then it would just be another post, and you can see that it's clean. You know, if people click on the image, they've got my profile, so if they want to add me, that's great. And then they've also got all the information on the advertisement to click on that link and join. And then obviously when they're in your back end, you've also got their email address. So the first thing you can do, you can use that email to check whether they're on Facebook, or you can use that email to send them an email, and then try and follow up with them and try to teach them more about this, and also give them a link to the Fortadpays leadership group and help train those people to really make the most out of this and out of their Fortadpays experience, because it's really going to be amazing for everyone that goes into this group, right? So I really hope that you've kind of got your head around this a little bit. If you do have any questions, just send me a message. I know it's a little bit, I mean, this is not scripted out or anything like that, and I'm not really the best ones to do a video without a script per se. I usually write things down before I'm talking, but I've just seen this work, and I just really wanted to share this out with you guys, that I have found a way to make your links work in Facebook groups. Okay, so don't do any more spacing, don't do any more, don't do any more sort of like forcing things through until your Facebook account gets blocked and things like that. Use this alternative, use it as an alternative. And if you've got any questions, like I said, just send me a message, and I hope that helps you guys out. Thanks.